Our fellow traders, what's happening? Man, this was a crazy day. I don't know what the hell's going on with the market. Um, and this is what it is. Sometimes you think you got a hold of it. You think you know what's going on, and boy, you're out in left field. And that's kind of what happened to me. But we'll talk about that here in a minute. But I saw this. Somebody posted this a couple of days ago, and I'm like, I gotta share this. No, that says grapes must be crushed to make wine. Diamonds form under pressure. Olives are pressed to release their oil, and seeds grow in darkness. So whenever you feel crushed, under pressure, pressed, or in darkness, you're in a powerful place of transformation. All you have to do is trust the process. Trading is the same way. All of the stuff that we go through, the pulls, the pushes, the squeezes, sometimes we just turn the lights off in our room, and we're sitting in the dark. Stop. That's when transformation takes place. And I couldn't agree with this more. Now today, and here's the thing. Now last night, I was out yesterday. I had to go out of town for a doctor's appointment, and it was just crazy. I have to if I have enough time at the end, I'll tell you about what happened to me. It was crazy. But I did send out a tweet last night. I sent two watches. One was just my main watch, and I said I expected the market to gap up, and I expected the market to run into the election. I expected tomorrow to close strong. I expected Monday may not, it may be a little volatile, but I didn't expect the market to lose any ground. Number one, the people in power have been boosting the market this whole time. So I don't see why it wouldn't continue. Plus, this morning, we were going to have the GDP numbers come out, which we knew were going to be good, because this is on the heels of all of the stimulus money that got pumped into the economy, and all of the transition. We were starting to open back up and spend some of this money and move around. So we knew the numbers were going to be better. Now we're still down, overall for the year, but these numbers were going to be good, and it was going to show that, hey, we are starting to recover a little bit, even though the numbers are skewed because of the stimulus money that was coming that we don't have anymore, the CARES Act and all of that. So, and then we expected the new jobless claims to drop as well. So those are things that that should help bump the market. And so I'm thinking, we're gonna look good. I looked at the market, I think about 1:30, 2 o'clock this morning, when I woke up to use the bathroom, and I typically just look at the SPY on my phone at night, and I was like, man, we're up. And damn if when I woke up, the market had tanked again. And I was like, I don't get it. But I still played the day the way I intended to play it. So you'll see my journey here. But before we move forward, I wanted to kind of share some numbers with you. This is the GDP. It basically shows the health of our economy. And if you look at the GDP over the last 6 presidents, you see in the first 4 years in office, Trump had by far the lowest GDP growth rate of any of the last 7 U.S. presidents. But, I know you say, and the first thing I thought about was, okay, this year, 2020, is what killed him. Is probably what derailed him. And we'll look closer in these numbers in a second. But the GDP was the highest under Clinton and Reagan. My man Reagan had the highest. I mean, not the highest, but the second highest. Clinton had the highest by like 0.4%. But those two guys, they inherited pretty strong economy. Even when Reagan took over for Carter, he had a pretty strong, economy. But what we've seen in the last 12 years, we've been struggling. We've been struggling with debt and dealing with trade and the trade deficit that we've incurred. I mean, it's been a struggle. Starting with Bush, and then how it culminated with 2008 and that crisis we had at the end of 2008. All of that. It just seems like we're still kind of reeling from all of that stuff. So let's look closer at these numbers. All right, so we're looking at Obama's 8 years. And you can see 2009, this was dealing with that 2008 debacle and the recession that we had. So came out of that. And you can see stayed at 2.6, 1.6, 2.2. His first 4 years in office. Okay, he had one recession to deal with. Here's Trump's numbers. He had one recession to deal with. All right, so it kind of looks like, well, maybe it's a little bit stronger. But here, the way they had it was, he had the GDP growth average 1.62 under Obama, about 70% higher than Trump's growth rate. But I said, I want to look at the first 4 years. I want to compare apples to apples. So the first 4 years under Obama, he only had a 0.975% growth, with Trump coming in at 0.95. It's a dead heat. All right, it's a dead heat. And I think after this quarter, we may not show the growth that we showed this past quarter because, everything that we're dealing with now. But I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up pretty much the same. This number is going to change a little bit. And he might even, take out Obama's first year. So, I know one of the things that we have to look at, especially when we're dealing with trading and looking at these numbers and trying to figure out how to decipher them to help us in our plans, we have to make sure we compare apples to apples. And you can see, playing with these numbers, how you can make one person look so much better than the other when in all actuality, pretty much even. So for the last 12 years, our GDP has not been where it needed to be. Now, I know Trump ran on, I'm going to turn it around and we're going to do so much better. But we're still dealing with the same stuff. And I don't know. I'm not a genius, but, it's going to be, probably it's going to be some time, and it's going to take somebody that's going to be able to come in and really work these numbers the way they need to be worked. And I think it's going to have to be a fresh, new, millennial person to come in to run this country. And I think that's what it's going to take, because we have moved on to, we moved on. We're not dealing with the same stuff that we've been dealing with. So at least that's my 2 cents on it. But the main thing is, whenever we start comparing stuff, let's make sure we compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges, and not start mixing it up to try and make it seem like something is not, because that's why the market moves crazy and moves erratic, and we can't seem to get a finger on the rhythm so that we can get in and start dancing. All right, so we look at today. We had a big sell-off yesterday. Pretty nice, just what I wanted to see, but it actually sold through the 100 yesterday. Didn't anticipate that, but it did sell through it. But I also anticipated a bounce day today. We didn't get the day that I was looking for. It didn't hold, but we didn't really lose ground either. So we're still right there, and I still think that we have a shot at I still think that we have a shot at bouncing this, and this thing running up and into the election. I still think that's on the table. Maybe I just don't want to be wrong, and I'm just can't get that out of my mind. But that's what I'm thinking. And this is the 5-minute chart of the day. And you can look, man, I was really excited. This thing was running. And then the bottom fell out again. I mean, it's just crazy. And now I think, we're pretty much trading, right around 327. So we'll see. I know what I think. I know what my thesis is tomorrow, that we are going to build off of this and bounce. But you see what my thesis did today. So take that with a grain of salt. All right, so the first trade today was FSLY. And of course, I, not trading yesterday and just ready to get going here. I jumped in the trade too early. Second time I did it this week. Didn't wait for the first 5-minute candle to close. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But fortunately, it worked out. The technicals held, and we ended up making a couple moves here. Unfortunately, my last piece, I got shaken out before it made the move. 128.50 was my final target. And this was, I probably shouldn't have put my profit target on my last piece here. I probably should have done what I always do, go back to break even and, let it work. But I didn't do that. Ended up giving up the last leg of this trade. This would have been a home run. But error in judgment. I had an error in judgment all over the place. On entry, this is an F. As far as execution is concerned, this is an F. But we made money on it. Go figure. Sometimes you will make an F in execution, and still make money. But I got to clean that up. Got to clean it up. Next trade, another F in execution. There's no way in hell I should have taken this trade off. I don't know what the hell I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know where my mind was. I'm not on any medication like I was last week, which is why I didn't really trade like this. I don't know. I have no idea. But there was no reason, absolutely no reason for me to take this trade off. It would have been a winner. But There we go again. Piss poor execution. It didn't cost me any money, but I didn't make any money. Just piss poor execution. Me convincing myself that I knew what was going to happen next. And so I took it off, thinking that it was going to take off and run up. So that was that. Facebook. Here's another one. I got in on the break up here, and it pulled back on me, stopped me out, started to run back again. I got pissed. Another F in execution. Jumped back in it, and almost got taken out. We never did close below the 9, which was a technical level that I was basing my stop off of. Never did close below the 9, and eventually we went up, and I killed all my targets. So, and then it ran up a lot more than I thought. I assumed we were going to finish here around 282, but it just ran up some more. Went all the way up to 283, almost 283.50. But another F in execution here, but ended up making some money. Did get stopped out on the first trade, but was able to kind of recover there. And the last trade, here again, I did not execute. For me, either I executed right or I didn't. So it's a go, no go, pass, fail type thing for me, to where I grade myself. So the entry was on point. We waited until we broke the low. I got in, it pulled back a little bit, using the 9 as our guide, along with the opening range low. Just kind of worked it down. And guess what? I did it again. I did it again today. I took the damn trade off before I was supposed to take it. No reason to take it off. The technical level has not been broken. It has not been broken. I took it off. All right, so what happened here was, not only did I just take this off because I got whatever, I left my first cover on. This 200 shares that got bought here, this was my profit target for this trade. I forgot to take it off. It ended up executing. And so I had to stop and think about this. I'm like, okay, we're close enough to the 200 for me just to let this thing go. And if we bounce off the 200, I can add back. But what I'd done was, I was in the middle of doing something, and I had gone and started doing something else, and I couldn't stop in the middle of it. I had to finish it. So as I thought through this, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna add to this so I'll be in full size, and I have my stop down here, and I can just let it go, so I could, it's only gonna take me like 5 or 10 minutes to finish and get everything out the way. And I did. I got back. We were able to take profit at the 9. We were able to take profit at the 20 and at the opening range high and the 100 period right here. Textbook covers here for a reversal trade. And this is the reason why I like streaming live. Not so that you can laugh at me when I make mistakes, but so you could understand how you cannot be perfect. But if you realize the mistake you made, and then take a step back and look at what the whole situation, look at the picture, and come up with a plan that could potentially bail you out and not affect your risk management, then you do it. And that's exactly what you saw me do today. And this is exactly why I stream live. Not so you can follow me, not in the trades, not so you can mirror trades or anything like that. It's so that you could observe. If I'm your mentor, you need to observe me doing the same things that I'm teaching you so that you can connect to it. And that's exactly what we did here. So obviously the last target on a reversal is the VWAP, but we could not get through. There was just too much resistance here with the 50, the 100, and the opening range low, which we know acts as support or resistance throughout the day. And that's what we ran into. So I ended up having to take it off here. But for somebody that had 4 Fs who flunked out of trading today, I damn near made $1,000. Well, $894.25. So I could say I almost made $900. For somebody who failed in execution, and all we did was, when I made the execution error, take a step back, figure out the best course of action to take so that I don't give up my risk management and I give myself the best chance to be successful in the trade. And I didn't have any idea of what was going to happen. Had no clue. But I took that and made the best of it. So that's how we ended our day, 894.25. I had a lot more tickets than I like. 21 tickets today, but that's due to piss poor execution. And that's what happens. So PRTS, this is the swing trade that we got in yesterday or day before yesterday. Hell, I can't remember. No, the 27th, the day before yesterday. And this is the technical setup. This was just a technical breakout on a daily chart. And it's a chart that I just happened to see. And it's in the industry that I think is primed for a big move. And that's just my thought behind this. So the entry triggered for me. We broke this ascending triangle. And we made a strong move up on the day that I entered. But yesterday, you can see we sold off. But look, we held the integrity of this. We held the integrity of the triangle. So let me see if I could find. Let me get the chart with today on here. So let me bring this up. And I like car parts. I'm a car guy. So, these are the stocks that I like. And a lot of these stocks I traded with my students. And so you can see we kind of held today. This is still a big indecision day. But we held up. And as long as we hold this trend and we don't start coming back in, I'm going to give it a chance to make, get to new highs here. Are we going to get to 1650 tomorrow? I doubt it. But we can at least get to 1530. At least we can see that. But we'll see. That's something that we are, that I'm looking for on this. So this held out today. Yesterday, this trade, I got really, really lucky on this. Like I said, I was out of town. And this one kind of broke down, and I should have taken it off, but I was like, it's reporting earnings. Everything I'm looking at is pointing toward a gap up. So I was looking for this thing to gap up and test 52-week highs. I mean, I had an order out for 155, and I mean, I was loaded up and ready to go. But it didn't. It popped up a little bit. It sold off. It tried to pop up again, and when it didn't make a new high, I took it off. I think we made $273.31. Could have taken a decent hit on this, but I reacted, and there wasn't much I could do. I was sitting at a gas station on my little laptop, getting ready to get on the highway because I wanted to wait for the close, wanted to try to work this, and it just didn't work out. Fortunate to get out of this with the tiny green, but not what we wanted out of this trade. Not at all. And then the big hit came today. PTON, this is the one I tweeted out last night. The one I was really excited about today. I thought we had a really good chance. It triggered an open this morning. I thought the market was going to be strong because of, the economic news that came out, the jobs report. And I got crushed. I got flat crushed. But I'll know tomorrow, and I'll post it tomorrow when I do the recap, how much I actually lost. But it's in the $3,000 range. But this is one that I could have made $8,000 to $10,000 on if it worked the way it was supposed to. So risking $3,000 was nothing. That was well within what I had planned on risking. But not every swing trade works. Not every day trade works. That's just the way it is. Not much we can do about it. But we'll just get ready. Get locked and loaded for tomorrow. Try to get my head screwed on straight, and hopefully execute like I've got some sense. And maybe finish this week out strong. But remains to be seen. So you guys have a great night, a great evening, and I will catch you in the morning.